Doc when you're back with another video. Here today to give you my review of this new B-Lovee record. Sorry for the wait. So, B-Lovee is a Bronx drill rapper who's been really coming into his own popularity-wise in around 2021, and definitely came in with alongside people like K-Flock and Dougie B as the beginning of the Bronx drill wave. And as many of you know, I have not really been the biggest fan of pretty much any of the Bronx drill guys. Not only is feel extremely lacking in any sense of creativity and like individuality, as a lot of them sound pretty much the same to me. But I think also due to either how young they are, or maybe just how little effort they put into the music, the writing is not all that great, and the flows were always pretty terrible to me. And so, however, as time has gone on, I think with a combination of Ice Spice as well as just hearing the sound more, I'm beginning to see more of the value of Bronx drill, even if I still don't think it's very great or moving music. So when it came to this B-Lovee record, I was looking forward to it in the sense that I wanted to see what different creative decisions that B-Lovee could make to improve his music. And so overall, I think that I think this is a better B-Lovee project, uh, but I still think it does suffer from a lot of the flaws that Bronx drill generally suffers from. So let's get into it. And I was going back and forth on this because I can tell that B-Lovee is experimenting with more subject matter. And B-Lovee has always been someone who's been more willing to talk about the girls and relationships and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to bump his writing up to a mid because I feel like I really appreciate the topical focus, and I really appreciate his willingness to expand his subject matter. But like, it's all still so simple. Like, it's just like so not compelling to me at all. Like, the extent of his love songs are, I think this girl looks good, and that's the extent of it. Um, and it's not even delivered in this interesting way. The amount of repeat lines, the amount of repeat, like specifically end rhymes, right? Like, obviously everyone's gonna have a bar that ends with the B word and stuff like that. But I feel like there was just such a lack of diversity of end rhymes on here that it was just kind of it was kind of like just like not like it was so hard to like not notice that. And while I feel like this is maybe my favorite Bronx drill, I think B-Lovee is the best rapper out of any of the Bronx drill guys. I still feel like the writing is not moving. I don't find the writing to be interesting in any way, and I don't even find the writing to be relatable in or clever in any way. To be clear, I'm not asking people to like, be Kendrick Lamar or anything like that, but even Chef G has clever and creative punchlines. I'm listening to Get Back Gang, and I'm finding so many clever lines that I missed in my reaction. There's ways to do this thing where your writing is enjoyable. Go listen to Central C. Go listen to Favi Without Warning, Favi's last joint. Go listen to Still Sleep, right? And I just don't feel like none of that is implemented on this project. So while I do feel like this is the best B-Lovee from a writing perspective, and I feel like B-Lovee, generally speaking, is the best writer from the Bronx drill camp, I still feel like it's like not good. It's bad. Going into the flows, I think this is. I'm gonna give this a mid, which is definitely. I think this is from a flow perspective a bit better than I've heard. I think that, and we'll get into that in the production section. I think he has pockets where he rides the beat pretty smoothly and engages with the production vocally pretty well. And I also think that B-Love's voice being sort of the least raspy and least shouting out of everybody is a pretty nice something to be appreciated. I would still go mid with it because it was still a lot of offbeat rapping and the flow was still very repetitive in the grand scheme of things. You weren't getting a lot of like frankly different deliveries. None of the flows were all that complex like you might see with Fabio, nor was he giving us a large range of deliveries such as Chef G and or a Boogie. And so it's still not like super compelling to me, but it was definitely better than I've heard. The production, and this is my favorite part of the record. One of the things that I really don't like about Bronx Drill is that they seem to rely on samples so much to the point where, and this is like, I want to make a video reacting to Screwface's video about this, but he talked about how like the appeal is the dissing ops, and I feel like that's kind of a misrepresentation. I feel like the main appeal of Bronx Drill has always been the samples, but you run into this issue, and I think Coi Leray, I saw in a recent Coi Leray interview that like she doesn't understand why people have an issue with the samples.
Sampling, there's nothing wrong with sampling. For some reason, a lot of people try to use me for like the example of out of things. They try to make me an example.
Wait, sampling is bad or something?
You know, no, I don't think sampling's bad at all. I feel like I get where people might say, "Yo, you're doing too much with the sample." Like it was good how it was originally, right? That's what they say.
Man, come on. Where they saying this at, man?
They're saying that like all over the internet recently.
Fuck
like
the internet, bro.
Yeah, like it was.
I think that a lot of times the issue that people run into is that like the sample you use is so iconic that people are listening to it for the nostalgic feeling of the sample more than they are your bars, your flows, or even what you bring to the song in any, or even the changes you make to the sample, right? It's not even like these guys change the sample in any radical way. It's just, here's the sample. Talk to Me is, I think, the most blatant example. But What Y'all Want to Do is another solid example of how, like, the appeal of that song to me just doesn't come from the rapping in any, or the changes in sample in any way. I like this B-Love record because it experiments more with house production, as we've seen with Ice Spice, and as we've seen with Ron Suno. The samples are not recognizable that he implements. I really like Toto. I think it's Tudo or whatever. I really like Tudo for that reason. I really liked Act Bad for that reason. I liked PLD. Yeah. I just think that he really the production was definitely a highlight for me, and I think gives it a lot of replay value. So yeah, the production I would definitely give a good borderline great even. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth. But the production, I think what's very impressive about this production is that despite the prior two things I said about the writing and the flow, I still am getting a lot of replay value out of this project simply for the production. I also wanted to say that I thought the features were actually pretty good. I know that I think his name is Too Rare. Just had a really crappy XXL freshman freestyle, and people are crapping on him. But I really enjoyed his contributions to Act Bad, and thought that it was really enjoyable to hear his verse. I liked La Tyler on the deluxe as well. Sha AK is never. I don't think I've ever find his music enjoyable. But that's just the Bronx Drill. They click up with their mans, and it's at the very least nice to see that they still do some in-house features, which is nice. But yeah, overall, I thought that Too Rare was a really good contribution, and I got as far as Gang Gang. I didn't listen to like the remixes like that, um, because I don't know, I just don't count those. But I did like Love Tyler on Gang Gang, and yeah, uh, overall musical execution. Again, I'm gonna go with a good, simply for the production. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm listening to it, and there's a lot of different sounds I'm hearing. There's a lot of stuff that you can bop to. There's a lot of stuff that you can just sort of enjoy without thinking, which I think is really, really good when it comes to especially new age drum music, that casually bumpable music. And so I'm actually going to give the musical execution a good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm getting a lot of replay value out of it. And overall, despite the fact that I think the writing is pretty bad and I think the flows are pretty mediocre, I think the overall project is good. I think that the way the production comes in, what the features are able to do, and just the solid choruses on here really make for an enjoyable listen. I also wanted to speak to the length of the project. This is a pretty short album, being generally like an in between one, in between this new album I guess he's working on and the last one, and so it was pretty short, which also really helped it avoid the repetitive, too long. It never got boring because it never overstayed its welcome. So I think that also helps with the overall ranking. And while it doesn't get higher than a good because of the aforementioned writing and flows, I do feel like there's some value to come out of this project, and it's definitely, I think, my favorite Bronx Drill project I've listened to so far. I know it's been a while. Thank you all so much for watching. I did just finish moving in. I might do a room tour low key. I might put a poll on my Instagram, see if y'all want to see a room tour. It's not much, but I might enjoy it. And I'm gonna be doing like 2 videos a week, most likely. More shorts will be coming as well. I plan on dropping more shorts. Yeah, with that being said, let me know what y'all thought of this record down in the comments, and peace, y'all.